There's something about black and white photography that feels abstract. By stripping away color, we force ourselves to focus on the fundamental elements of a composition: light, shadow, form, and texture. This reduction to pure visual elements challenges us to see the world differently and potentially create more compelling photographs. Some photographers say that color is a distraction. Personally, I don't agree with that idea. Rather, I believe both color and black and white photography have their own unique strengths and purposes. Color can be used intentionally to evoke emotion and create visual harmony, just as the absence of color can do the same. But when we remove color, we begin to notice the subtle interplay of tones and the dramatic impact of contrast in ways we might otherwise miss. Regardless of where you are in your photography journey, I can't recommend it enough to shoot with black and white in mind. And I don't just mean shoot in black and white, but I mean to think and see in black and white. Historically, black and white photography has been especially significant in street photography, where pioneers like Henri Cartier-Bresson, Robert Frank, and Vivian Maier helped establish it as a defining aesthetic of the genre. In the bustling streets of post-war Paris and New York, these photographers found that black and white photography had a unique ability to cut through the chaos of urban life and capture what Cartier-Bresson iconically called the decisive moment, those fleeting instances where form, light, and the human experience align perfectly with each other. It's important to note, though, that for many of these pioneering photographers, the choice between color and black and white wasn't really a creative decision. It was largely dictated by the technological and cultural constraints of the time. Black and white photography was the established standard, more affordable, and widely accepted in the artistic circles. Color photography, on the other hand, was often viewed with skepticism, considered more suitable for advertising and amateur snapshots than serious artistic expression. This context, it adds another layer of understanding to why black and white became so deeply embedded in the visual language of street photography. The limitations of the medium became its strength as photographers learned to maximize the expressive potential of monochrome imagery. In a black and white image like this, you aren't given the information that color might provide you. You're left to focus on the fundamentals of the composition instead. In a way, the absence of color creates a layer of abstraction in all of their work, emphasizing the emotions of the human experience that they were trying to document at the time. I love shooting in Manhattan's Chinatown, but sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. Overwhelming in, just how much color there is. Sometimes I feel like it's all competing with each other, where you end up not really having any idea of what to even photograph. If I'm not feeling that, spark of inspiration, it can help to actually just stop and think and shoot in black and white. There is an argument to be made about using black and white in a place like this. You lose the essence and the energy of an environment that is so colorful. But I think it's all about intention, of what you want to bring out in your photo. So there's no reason to ever feel guilty for shooting in black and white. Lately, I've been using the X100F with the Acro simulation, and I have to say, it's been pretty refreshing to just pick up a camera that I can dedicate to monochrome photography. And yeah, what do the kids say? Lock in. That crowd of people crossing the street, we can go from a smorgasbord of competing colors to a stream of tonality that feels like it's moving. And just by switching to black and white, we add this whole entire element of movement that wasn't necessarily lost, but maybe was overpowered by all the varying colors. The more you start to see in black and white, the more you pay attention to how all of these different characteristics speak with each other in a scene. I want to take a brief moment to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. I've been using Squarespace to run my own professional website for my photography for over 6 years. And it's the platform I run pretty much everything from my portfolio, my blog, newsletter, and digital store. And I've stuck with them so long because of how seamless it is to use. I just recently gave my website a refreshed look, and it was super easy to do all of that with Squarespace's design tools. So maybe this is your sign to get started yourself with Squarespace. You can visit squarespace.com/Faisal and use the code Faisal to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. One of the masters of monochrome imagery is a cinematographer you might have heard of, Roger Deakins. While he's obviously best known for his work in color films, his background in still photography and his deep understanding of light and shadow demonstrates the same principles we've been discussing. This is Byways, a collection of black and white photographs spanning 5 decades of Deakins' life. He's known as one of cinema's greatest cinematographers, and his roots in still photography reveal his masterful understanding of light, shadow, and composition. The book showcases images that he captured between film projects, a lot of these mostly being landscapes, but also street scenes as well. What I find particularly fascinating is how these photographs demonstrate the same careful attention to light and shadow that we see in his cinematography. I think Deakins is a great example that, perfectly illustrates how working in black and white can train your eye to see, the fundamental building blocks of visual storytelling. In Byways, you can see how Deakins uses contrast not just as a technical element, but as a storytelling tool, creating mood, depth, and narrative through the interplay of light and shadow. Black and white photography isn't just an aesthetic choice, it's a way of seeing. It's a mindset to photography, and it challenges us to, strip away the elements of color and connect more deeply with the foundational elements of an image. Black and white photography reminds us that less can oftentimes be more. That absence of color doesn't take anything away. It actually just reveals what's already there.